What's up, Music Hacks family? Welcome back to the network. Let me say it has been quite a while that we have not done this format of the show. All right, so bless up and do enjoy tonight's live stream. Tonight we have a phenomenal bass player in studios with us. His name is Mr. Sherwayne, aka Sherbass Thompson. Come on, let's welcome Sherbass to the Music Hacks Network.
What an audience.
Yeah, man, that's how my Zoom audience is very lively on a Thursday night when we have live stream.
Indeed.
Oh,
As my
Lord.
friend would say.
Yeah, man. So, what's up, Sherwayne?
Well, Corona. That's what's up.
Oh, boy. I think that would be up for everyone in this world, but definitely we are trying to avoid all the circumstances that this dreaded disease has to offer us. But how have you been managing in a time like this?
Well, by the grace of God, actually, you know, it's great to say, in spite of all that's going on,
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to, provide for myself and my family, etc. Make things turn just about as usual, as if, when Corona wasn't here. But thank God that you have other means to actually do music, not just one, which is you know production, studio, etc.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of avenues there that I personally had to use up in order to stay afloat.
Right.
Yes, man.
I know a lot of musicians are actually doing the same thing, improvising. That's a great word that we
Mm.
normally use when we're on stage, but definitely it's more practical
Yeah, man, a lot
for
more
us
practical
now.
than we think. Yes,
Awesome.
but for now, it's a lot better now, I must say.
Mm-hmm.
Because even guys like me, that had a North Coast experience,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak, in Jamaica,
Right.
that's an avenue as well that presently is now being utilized by me a lot, to put, you know, bread on the
Right.
table, etc.
Yeah,
So
man,
it's not
definitely.
just production anymore. It's not just
Right.
about going in the studio anymore, but I now have the option of going into a hotel and,
Mm-hmm.
contributing to such. Yeah, man.
Awesome. All right.
Mm.
I'm sure you will have a lot to say in the Q&A. All right. We don't want to run ahead of ourselves, but you've been one of those bass players that I have always admired.
Yeah,
Um, yes,
of
man.
course, me I know
Biggie,
that, Chris.
well, Biggie can tell you.
Never know that.
When we start to talk, I used to follow you all the time. Fun in the Sun and all those big shows when you used to play for Colin Davis. You know, that's before I started to take the bass seriously. But I will tell you some more about that. I'm sure you brought a very interesting topic for our audience tonight.
um, the spirit of taste, no?
Yes.
And versatility, for sure.
How,
Um,
how, how did you come up with this topic? Because it sounds interesting. I am ready to hear from the great Sherwayne.
Chris, like everything else in my life, I don't really spend time to create things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of those person who actually does, live up to the moment. So anything that falls in the circle at the given time, I will just go with it,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a naturist like that.
Okay.
I don't try to, put things into a context all the time. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you have to, but, not all the time. That's not my first move to do. And when you and I had discussed that part of it, Remy getting a topic, that was the first thing I heard,
Wow.
his voice that said,
Mm-hmm.
it is.
Awesome.
spiritual taste, etc. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sherwayne Sherbass Thompson.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, Chris. Um, the spirit of taste and versatility. Um, People who know me, personally as well as professionally, can tell you, as I said before, I'm a naturist, somebody who just, you know, view everything from a spiritual standpoint. And I think my family background is one of those things that contributed to me being like the way I am now. Every single thing I do, you know, it's about the spiritual part of me, you know, actually connecting whatever it is that I ought to do before the physical part kicks in. And it's so ironic that this topic is on the table tonight, but it must be from the Father above. Our musical tastes, as human beings, um, are shaped by external factors, a number of external factors, actually. And one of them, I would say, is exposure. Because without anything being actually, before you be privy to anything, you actually have to be exposed to it, right? And that's why I'm saying exposure for me is one of the number one things we taste from you were a baby until now. The food you eat, anything at all that you ingest, it shapes you into the person you're gonna be re-exposure, right? And music on a whole, with your peers and family growing up, of course, will shape that musical taste for you. The second for me is mood. We have so many different moods, and I'm learning now that you have people with a lot more moods that people traditionally know. So, of course, mood will be the second one for me. What we actually listen to during our activities, as well as internal preferences, we have for rhythm, harmony, traverse, all those stuff, etc. Mood contributes to all of that. And of course, personality. Your taste musically says a lot about your personality. And of course, people who are high on empathy may be preferring a certain type of music compared to people who are more systematic, right? So, of course, personality is key. Read this. All right. As it has to do with the display of music, whatever it is that you start to do musically, of course, you start to shape whatever taste you would like the product to sound like, or feel like, or make other people interested. You start to think about that key ingredient. It's just like cooking. And my friends will tell you, boy, Sherwayne cook with a whole heap of season, and it's spicy and all of that stuff. So if I go in the kitchen, naturally, it's gonna be a pot like that. Whatever it is that I'm cooking, whether curry chicken or just simply a salad, it's gonna have a lot of seasoning inside of it, And I like to think of those things as food that are beneficial until the season of a right, seasoning just of a right. So like music, that's how I vision it. That's how I see it all the time. Excuse me. It have to just right, whether whether it has to do with a simple progression, the choice of notes are very important, as it relates to the ingredient of the sauce of the progression and groove that they're trying to accomplish, So taste is everything. You can simply play in. You actually know exactly what you want, For example, you're passing from a 6 card to a 3 card. You can just go straight, or some people do. It's all up to you. All choices are there for the seasoning and taste of the music. Okay? All right. Now, I'm gonna play a piece that I recorded some time ago, maybe about 3 years. Maybe 3 years ago, I think. Yeah, but I didn't record it for any particular purpose. I was just in the studio in Kingston, Ufa Music to be exact. And we have this Japanese engineer there that, he and I fool around a lot when we were in the studio, not working on any projects. And this was one of the things that, he said, "Yo, let's record. Let's play something." And this was it. This wasn't thought of or anything like that. We just had a click track going using a TikTok. I think it was a watch timing, of course. And we just, put something to it. But today, I'm joined by my brethren, Joel Bangy Keys. Yeah, man, a.k.a. Joel Anders. Yeah, this guy toured me a lot, all over the place. Over 16 years now, right? Yeah, we've been through the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we're here still. And he's going to accompany me on this one. Simple track. Nothing much. It's just one of those tasty feels kind of tune. And of course, it's nothing new to the people who actually know me. It is a melody that they always hear there and about, because it's there on social media and multiple pages, etc. All right, so let's go. Okay, so that was Trapped in a Tunnel. I actually named it Trapped in a Tunnel. I should have mentioned that at the start, but yes, indeed.
You ready for us, Sherwayne?
Yes, man. Yes, man. Yes, man.
I get.
Remember, we don't have a lot of time today.
Oh, I guess we're still trapped in that awesome bass solo, bro. Trust me. Oh man, I don't know. I tell you,
Yeah.
you're one of the greatest bass player I've ever heard. Honestly.
Oh my.
And I and
And
I am not saying that because you're here. Huh? Bro, trust me, man. You're a phenomenal bass player. All right. And I'm sure all the persons who are on Zoom and also on YouTube would like to get to know you some more. Because it's not every day we get to talk to a person who is this highly skilled. And I'm happy that this is what the Music Hacks Network provides for all musicians across Jamaica. All right.
I love what you do, Chris. I love what you're doing.
All right, certainly. All right, we're gonna take go for a break and then come back with our Q&A. Are live on the Music Hacks Network, and it's now the Q&A time with Mr. SHERBASS. All right, SHERBASS. All right, so let's get to knowing you now as a person. All right, we have heard you on the instrument, and the instrument has spoken. You have spoken on the instrument. All right, so tonight I would like to know where this all started. I have been perusing your bio, and I realized that you said that your father and your grandfather These guys were
Mm-hmm.
skilled luthiers, if I must
Yes.
call them that. All right.
Yes.
Tell me a little about that experience while growing up.
Well, that's where the inborn talent came from, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up early, earlier in my childhood. I grew up with my grandma. You know, I spent a lot of time with my grandma, and having an inborn talent like music, you know, and not having anybody around you to actually, you know, tell you that, this thing is important.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you were by yourself trying to figure out what to do to quench this feeling inside you get. What do I do? You know,
Okay.
well, I found myself in the bushes a lot, making instruments, drumming.
And
I was a
which
drummer.
parish is that? You said
That's
Bushes.
what I do. St. Thomas. That is
All
St.
right.
Thomas in
St.
Sherwayne.
Thomas. Cool.
Mm-hmm. RT's, Raywood Lane,
Mm-hmm.
RT's District, St. Thomas. Um, I was in the bushes a lot, trying to make the instruments in order to, you know, somewhat teach myself. I will always say, God teach me what I know because, he was, he was there in the bushes. It must have been, it could have been just me alone in the bushes. But there's some sort of spirit there, guiding me, with the little that I saw as it relates to imagery of
Mm-hmm.
instruments. I had just relied on that and started molding my drum set, etc. The guitar came a little bit later as um, my father used to have me in a room practicing skills, you know, and I found it so boring. Like at that age, like what this man could have do to me, Jesus? What the hell this man had do to me? This room, just to learn
Wow.
skills.
Yeah.
Like, no, this can't be right. I want to play some songs. I want to do something more fun, but left the guitar and the
Mm-hmm.
keyboard as well. I found it boring too. Like the keyboard was like, come on, every scale a different fingering. No man, something wrong
Wow.
here, so something not right. Something need, something not connecting. This is not me.
Oh
Of
Lord.
course, I
Mm-hmm.
committed to it, but
Mm-hmm.
there was something still missing. There's no way. There's no way in life God want me to sit down here learning skills with different fingers. No, no, we just want to just go play some music.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being in high school because I got transferred from Dallas um, high school, and I went to Bridgeport High School
Okay.
because my
All the
father
way in
was living in
Portmore.
Bridgeport at the time, all the way in Portmore.
Mm-hmm.
And the saga continues where I was on my veranda one summer with a good friend of mine from that said school. His name is Omanza Jali. He's now a pastor in Florida.
Okay.
And he was a keyboard player, actually. He had the talent of keyboard. Very talented youth at the time. And we were on the veranda sitting, and I was like, hey, when we go back to school after summer holidays, we say, hey, let's form a band.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go after the dream, the musician's dream. Every musician's dream is to get big and further themselves. When I went to school that September morning, lo and behold, the principal at the time, Mr. Messam, bought a full band rig. I mean, we went to the school and
Wow.
saw a drum set and everything, and I was like, no man, this man must be a hobby man.
Man.
I said to
You,
Jolly,
you don't see that every day, right? Not
exactly,
a lot of high schools have a set out kit of
exactly,
instruments. Yeah.
exactly. And I was there and like, Jolly, this man must be a hobby man. Oh, me here with that. We on the veranda, just me alone talking, and we just come to school and the man buy up everything. Then, anyway, um, shortly after we formed a band,
Mm-hmm.
and you have some professional musicians here in Jamaica's industry still that was a part of that band. We have Andre, right, who is now on the ship, and
Mm-hmm.
we have Andre Bailey, who is playing for Morgan Heritage for the past maybe 16 plus years. Andre Bailey is with the Heritage Band still, you know, and so forth. Many of the other guys, went off with different careers, but you know, Andre Andre Wright, and myself are doing music professionally still. Thank
Mm-hmm.
God for that. But we formed that band then, and
Okay.
actually went to the high school, JCDC's festival.
JCDC.
Yeah, man, we
Wow.
went there. I actually back then did a drum solo because as I told you, that is why I play so percussive, because I was still
Yes, I can hear
moving
that.
with drum.
Yeah, man. I hear the percussiveness
Yeah,
in your
so
in your playing.
I, yeah, I love the drum. Gone to bed,
Mm-hmm.
and I did a drum solo then, which merited me um what it was. Yeah, I got a gold medal for the drum solo, I think. No, sorry, it was a silver medal for the drum set,
Okay.
and I did a bass solo, and I think I got the gold medal for the bass. Yeah, that's how it
Wow.
was. Because actually, when I went to the drums, you had guys like Marvin Burke, who after that time became a part of my band
Mm-hmm.
when he started to attend Edna Manley College, and you had guys like Obed
Mm-hmm.
Davis. Now Davis in at the festival as a drummer. Come on, where me I go?
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Uh, but
Yeah.
little did we know that God had a plan for us, and Obed and
Mm-hmm.
I had done so many stuff from that moment on. It was Courtney Bam Diedrich that plays for Junagang right now, the drummer
Yes,
for
sir.
Junagang.
Bam.
Bam saw me downtown in the theater and said, "Hey, him have a drummer that is gonna do a piece,
Mm-hmm.
and he just needed a bass player just to give him a little groove so he can execute." And that was the first time I met Obed Davis. Yeah, man. And I remember fashioning a piece of um, bass groove that Ron Reed did on First Root album with John Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Ron Reed, one of my favorite bass player of all time. Back in the day, I used to listen to Ron Reed a lot. We
Right.
never have internet now, like we had now. So we had to, when Ron do it, I had to you know, squeeze in the cassette player so some of
Yes.
the lines
Yes.
could slow down. It's not
A lot
clear.
of these. Be
Mentally.
careful, man. A lot of these younger cats on the Music Hacks Network may not know exactly what you're referring to when you talk about the
That's
cassette
true.
player. All
Yeah.
right. I
That
think
was
I'm going to
our
bring one of
method at
that
the
to show them
time.
one of these days.
Yes, you should. You should. That was our method at the time. Like, they can just go on YouTube and cut the timing of anything they want
Yeah,
and,
man.
hear it clearly. But that was our method then,
Mm.
But from high school there and then, um, I found out that I had the love for bass. High
Right.
school was the moment when I found out I had a love for bass. And my
Mm-hmm.
father actually used to produce shows at church.
Okay.
His church was Hope Gospel Assembly in Ligani,
Oh, gosh.
and I
Okay,
used
yeah.
to attend there. He was the bass player. My father was the bass player, and I was the drummer back then.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And then you had Winston Robinson and piano and keyboards, of course. But what he did was to record some of those shows, and used to have cats like Mikey Kennedy and Dennis Rushton that came to jam. Of course, Dean Fraser too, that
Mm-hmm.
came to do some of those functions. Even Dale Brown, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, my father was in England, and me going to high school, stumbling at home on some old cassette, and I remember stumbling on some of Mikey's material, live material at the time, and I know for sure that this was the instrument I wanted to play,
Mm-hmm.
because it was the instrument I realized could facilitate not only the medalic part of the love that I have, but it facilitated the percussiveness as well. So,
Awesome.
you know, you know, being
Cool.
able to do that on one instrument is a match made in heaven. And of course, um, leaving high school and getting introduced, sorry, to doing Livingston. I used to go to Edna Manley a lot, you know. I used to go to Edna so much that they thought
Whoa.
I attended the college.
Whoa. Whoa.
You
Whoa.
remember the teacher, Gerd, Mr. Gerd? Hey, Gerd sent me up for exam, not knowing I wasn't an attendee of the you know, Dave prime time green. Dave said, but sir, Sherwayne don't come to the school.
You're a
I'm
resident,
like,
not a
yeah.
student.
It's like, what? What? He doesn't attend the school. Oh my.
Yeah,
Just throw down the
man.
papers and walk gone. Yes, man. I remember.
Yeah.
Yes, man. A lot
All
of
right.
memories there. But I
Yes.
got introduced to Dwayne and I,
Mhm.
you know, I was so intrigued, you know, about Dwayne's playing, you know, and I realized that, you know, Dwayne had access to a lot of material. You know, Dwayne was listening to all type of bass players, which up to this day, you know, I listen to bass players, but not as much as I think Dwayne, you know, listen to, you know, really pay attention to techniques and all of that. I
Right.
was like, I wanted to find me in all of that, but not just to take on everyone's technique and so forth. I started to listen a lot of saxophonists, etc. So you're around me now, you'll find that I listen a lot of lines, you know, and it comes out in my playing. It comes out on the bass.
Yeah, it's very evident in
I
your
will
in your
hear a chord
playing.
and automatically, exactly, I start to line. Yeah,
Right.
it no matter whatever is playing, I start to line over it because that's what I'm hearing. That's what it is. But it doesn't take away though what the true essence of what a bass player should be about, which is to keep it together. You know, in spite of all of that, you have to make sure you hold it down because yeah, you don't want the guitarist looking at you and say, "Hey,
All
keyboard playing
right.
sometime like what?" But you should be able to relate to them in a
Right.
way that you know, yeah, you can dissect whatever you need to dissect.
Awesome.
Yes, man.
Yes, sure. So let's look at now how you actually went pro, because I think this is where I didn't meet you formally, but I used to see you on stage. I want to know how you got into the pro arena with, playing with Colin Davis and these guys.
Well, the journey started before Colin, for sure. Went all over the place just to try to find a way how to tap into this thing. And of course, church, especially me and Dave Green, we used to do a lot of churches, a lot, a lot of little functions until
Prime
Dave said to
time?
me, "Hey, yeah, man, prime time for sure. Prime time and I
Who?
go a long way. That brother get me in a lot of trouble, even with my grandmother. But anyway, we need
Oh.
another program for that. Trust me.
Yeah,
And
man.
I'm telling you, Dave said to me, "Hey, you know, Norita Lewis at the time, um, she doing her stuff and she need a band. A matter of fact, she had Chris Wright already. Dave was somewhat affiliated and get himself familiar already. I was the new kid on the block coming in, and I took that gig. You know, as in the first established gospel artist was Norita Lewis, and that's when everything started. Really, you know, I started to do gigs with all kind of gospel people. Then some of them I can't remember right now because them just move on and go about them other professional ambitions. But Norita Lewis was set for me, and I know a lot of people must be saying, "Yo, Chris Wright, you and Chris Wright used to be in a band." Yes, Chris
Yes, man.
Wright
I
and I
remember. I
used to
remember
be in a
those
band. Chris
days.
was this little tiny.
Yeah,
Chris,
man.
I could even walk up, but no, he must walk. Yeah, great musician.
Right.
And that's where it stemmed from. And I started to, as I said, back a whole heap of gospel people. But as usual, I wanted, well, I should say, as usual for musicians, I too wanted more.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to branch off and get a little more of the frontline stuff. But in order to do that, I had to go out of the gospel genre, in order to
Right.
acquire that more that I needed. You know,
Mm-hmm.
everybody have ambitions, and for me at that time, money was essential.
Mm-hmm.
I needed that. So whatever it was to get that better part of levity in Jamaica, I needed that. But
Right.
um, I found myself doing a lot of jazz stuff with Dr. Cathy Brown, and I started getting various kind of calls. Like I love jazz, of course. I
Mm-hmm.
used to listen jazz a lot. Even some of the functions my father used to set up, but I wasn't actually playing jazz. But I knew that I was um, somewhat. I knew somewhat I had something to offer jazz. So I started to listen a lot at those stuff more. Charlie Parker, etc. I tried to find a
Mm-hmm.
lot of old stuff and tried to listen because walking bass was very essential if you're gonna play with, um, certain jazz local people. You have to at least know how to walk.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're not going to walk a whole lot of time, you have to at least know to walk.
Yes, I was just gonna ask you for an example of how you'd walk
Yeah,
the
man.
bass because a lot of bass players would not. Well, young bass players might not know the concept.
hmm Well, I always tell bass players who ask that question to um, try to go foundation as it relates to church.
Mm-hmm.
You find um, certain chord progressions that can help with that, like 1 6 2 5 or 1 3 6 2 5, whichever. You have progression in that region in church that you know um, play around a lot to exercise what bass. So like kind of blues feel everywhere.
Right.
You can add to it. And it gets more interesting. You understand? Yeah. So you start
Awesome.
simple like that,
Mm-hmm.
and you can get a lot more beboppy,
Right.
the deeper you get.
Give us some of the persons that you
Well,
have toured with over the years.
well, that's a long list, but I can tell you what people know me for. People know me to be touring with Albarosi, because Albarosi was like the first actual, I would say, resident artist. The first artist I can put your pot on fire for. Of course, I got introduced by the legendary saxophonist Dean Fraser to put together a team for Albarosi, and that's when I got introduced to the big man himself, Specialist Dylan, who is the man behind everything, Ray Albarosi, and that for me was a life-changing experience. That was a platform I used um, to actually, gain funds and all of that, and do whatever it is I wanted to do, read that platform. We had a lot of fun, touring with Albarosi. It's not every day you find a musician get an Italian reggae artist in Jamaica, to tour the world with, who actually lives in Jamaica up to this day, of course, and still evolving and excelling in the reggae genre. Big reggae star in Europe, you know, at the time, you know, doing a lot of collabs with a lot of people, Gentleman therefore. Yeah. And years after that, I got the chance to tour with Omi, Jamaica's cheerleader superstar. You know, that was an amazing time as well. Well, I don't want to speak about Omi in the past tense because, you know, he's a guy, he's a September guy like me, and get very touches. You know, spoke to him yesterday. Big up yourself, Omi, if you're watching, because he told me he was gonna tune in. And of course, he's supposed to give me a call today to discuss some other stuff. Anyway, yes, Omi. And of course, recently, I skipping over everybody because, you know, everybody else is wasn't resident to me. You know, like these guys were spiritual. Of course, my friend Orius Chin, aka Spiritual, who passed away recently. May God rest his soul. Not here with us, but that man is an terrific human being. You know, I should say was, because in the past was a terrific human being. Trust me, spiritual advisor. You know, it was like a father and a brother in one. You know, yep.
Awesome, awesome. All right, Sir Sherbass, I'm going to ask you now before we go into some questions with our audience. I am going to ask you to play your next piece. All right, I'm bringing the great Joel at this time to do another piece. Where's Joel? Joel, show your face, man. All right, we have just about 5. Yeah, man, show Joel face. Bless up yourself, Joel. You know you'll be on the Music Hacks Network very shortly.
Yes, man.
All right, we'll definitely contact you. All right, sir.
It better be. It better be.
All right.
Chris,
Cool.
on tour with Albarosi too, you know.
Whoa, whoa.
As me say, him there everywhere.
Yes, man.
Yes, man.
All right, so let's hear the next tune. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Sherbass Thompson live on the Music Hacks Network. All right, is this Mr. Sinclair?
Yes. Sorry, and how are you? This is your dad from London.
Daddy, oh, what's up?
You good? I see you're having fun.
Oh, Daddy's here now to tell you.
Oh my.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. One of the questions I would ask you, how do you make a decision as to what bass do you play for a particular gig or if a genre of songs? Having so many bass, how do you make a decision as to what bass you play?
Well, um, that question is like past tense to me. I have an endorsement with this bass, so a lot of the stuff I do right now, definitely I have to be using this because of the brand. And anybody who actually know how endorsement works, of course, you have to support the company that supports you. But in the past, generally that question, Daddy, it has to do with the type of gig you're gonna be doing, the material that comes with that gig as well. So of course, I was even couple of nights ago, my guitarist, Sharpman, everybody know him, Kenroy Mullins, that works with Bujo. I was showing him, this bass um, is one of the most multi-purpose basses I've ever played, you know, just to facilitate even questions like that, Daddy. Um, if I get a jazz gig, of course, I have to tone it to find exactly what I'm looking for with the jazz gig. So of course, you know, for example, playing jazz, I have to know which pickup I need to play on in order to find that round, fretless sound I need. You know, yeah, that kind of stuff. And of course, if I'm gonna be playing um, more pop gig or gospel, I have to find something close to that that supports that sound. You know, I know I'm gonna support that kind of gospel sound. You know, yeah, but yeah, pretty much two examples so far. But I could go on and on about this bass because it have a lot of different um, tones. You know,
The next follow-up question I would ask you is, I remember when I bought you the TRB,
yeah.
the strings that I actually bought the guitar with was the original string, but you have actually changed the string and detuned it. What inspired you to do that?
Yeah. Well, I was trying to search for a particular sound at the time. I remember studying um, some bass players on Bass Day '98 when I was much younger, of course, and I just couldn't find the picking sound on the school bass that I had. And having the TRB, I realized that I could actually even use um, the five strings on the TRB, the first five string, leaving out the B strings, inclusive of the C string. I could take all those strings and use them on a five string bass, you know, to accomplish a certain kind of a clearer picking melody kind of sound. And that's first when I started to experiment. So back on the TRB, you know, as you said, yeah, I used to detune just to find that kind of, you know, sound. Even listening some tracks that Maurice Fitzgerald did um, back in the time when he was like one of the top bass players on the gospel market. You know, there are songs that he used to detune. You know, just to capture a certain kind of dead bass to it. So I was experimenting a lot, and of course, that was one of it.
Okay, well, I won't ask the rest of the question because I know there's a lot of people on the side. So I'll catch up with you soon.
Okay, buddy.
All right,
Bye.
Sir
All the
T.
best.
Bless up.
Nice, Chris. Thanks, Chris. Well done, Chris. You did a good job.
Yeah, bless
Yeah.
up, sir.
Yeah, man.
Bless up,
Can you hear
warrior.
me? Wagwan, wagwan, wagwan.
All right.
Yeah, man. Blessings, everybody,
Oh,
man.
that my partner in crime.
Yes, praise the Lord, brother. Hallelujah. SHERBASS, the general
Yes.
himself. Need know what kind of question to ask, because you know why. How did you get the name, the professor?
Oh my God. Come on, that one is so obvious. Yours truly.
I don't even know if you ask. I just want to bless up the music hack and
Yes.
bless up you and just keep up the great work, my brother. Enough love.
Yes. Yes, man. Enough love to you, man. Chris, one of the greatest human beings, you know.
Yes, sir.
R.C.Y. Edward. I'm
Yes,
telling you,
man.
man.
Definitely.
You need
And
to hack him. You need to hack him.
You,
You need
you
to
know,
hack
say
him and the hack.
I'm my fault, like, hack me, because every time you try to hack me, I put my do. You see what I say?
Busy,
We
man.
just,
Busy.
yeah, Chris, we just put on my brother Fowles of the day,
Oh,
and trust
God.
me, I mean, we just want, say rest in peace, brother Fowles, just put him down on the day and
Yes, man.
get that
Yeah,
behind we,
man.
so every day is something else.
Right.
Trust me. Fowles,
Yeah, man,
terrific
so we just want to bless up
saxophonist, human
everybody
being.
and stay safe here, sir. Sure,
All
be a
right.
Yes,
general.
man.
Bless up.
Blessings.
All right. One
Bless up.
final
Stay
question,
safe, yeah.
Sherwayne. This is from Daily Music. What is your practice method and ethic?
Okay. That is one of the most popular questions asked. Um, my friend in Florida, Akil Red Bull, I think you had him on the program. I'm
Yes.
not sure, some months ago. If Akil heard this question, the first thing Akil would say, Sherwayne, practice? When? Where? How? Yeah, he will ask the question because most of my practice, my I would say committed practicing was done during high school. I did most of it during high school. As I heard Dwayne Livingston said one time, what we're living off now is what we did then, for sure. So now we get ourselves prepared, which is not totally correct to do. But circumstances and how things are now, we're so busy. We have a lot of things, on our plate. We try to get as much as we can, But um, I practice skills. When I used to practice a lot, I practice skills, yes. But as I told you before, I find myself practicing a lot of lines, having them come out, and interpreted the correct way is essential. So I focus a lot on that. And in truth, no, Chris, I find myself, not now, but a few years now, I find myself doing a lot of mental practice. So if that's always with me. Somebody will be talking to me and actually multitasking. I listen to the person, but I'm trying to figure out what this thing is. So when I actually take up the bass, I can't put it down. And many people would think that's disrespectful. That's disrespectful because I'm in a setting that I'm supposed to be listening to it, but I just can't. I do a lot of that because I'm trying to figure out what needs to be figured out. So that is my life now. But I'm trying to change that. I'm doing, as I mentioned in my bio, what I'm doing now. I want to, get that on the forum, structure that in a way so I can have a lot more time to do, a lot more practice and a lot of other stuff.
Before we go, Sherwayne, give us your social media contacts.
Yeah, it's SHERBASS everywhere. SHERBASS Entertainment, actually, but short, SHERBASS Ent. SHERBASSENT. And IG as well as YouTube, etc. Facebook, SHERBASS Ent. Yeah, man.
All right. Bless up, Sir Sherwayne. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the live stream with Mr. Sherwayne SHERBASS Thompson.